Hello and welcome to Lynxspring Live. This is Bruce Stimpson, Vice President and CIO of Lynxspring, and I'm here today with John Petze and Brian Frank from SkyFoundry. Thanks for joining me, guys.
Happy to do it.
Yeah.
John, for people who don't know about SkyFoundry, give me a little background on the company and tell me who you are.
Well, first of all, we're a software company. And what we focus on is all of the data that's produced by smart devices, equipment systems, control, automation systems.
A lot of that out there.
There's huge amounts of data, and people haven't taken advantage of it. So what our software allows you to do is actually get value out of that data. And the way it does that is it finds patterns or issues in the data that represent equipment faults, deviations from performance that you'd expect, opportunities for savings, and it really helps people understand how buildings are actually running, not how we think they're running, but how they're really running.
Right.
People historically haven't taken advantage of this data in our side of the world.
Brian, tell us, obviously you're talking about SkySpark, so tell us a little bit about the application in general and what kind of successes, who are the customers that are using it and finding some success with it.
Okay, so
You don't have to mention any customer names exactly, just what kinds of customers.
And they don't like their names mentioned?
There you go.
So SkySpark is really a software platform that augments and sits on top of the building automation system.
All right.
Okay, it's cooperative with it. And it's three things. It's a database, it's an analytics engine, and it's a visualization tool.
Right.
And what we do is we suck the data out of the BMS system, or it might be Excel spreadsheets that the company has. We organize that so that we understand what the buildings look like, what the operational characteristics are. Then we crunch the data to look for patterns, as John said. And then we have a suite of tools for visualizing that data. So typically, a lot of customers that use it, especially who get a lot of value out, might be a national account, where they may have 1,000 stores across the country. And that might be 10,000 rooftop units.
Right.
It would be impossible to manually check for efficient operation. And once we've connected up to the building automation system, we can crunch all of the sensor data with all of those RTUs and pinpoint exactly which ones might be operating inefficiently.
Tell me, you don't have to say any specific company, but give me some kind of idea of once somebody puts this in place, what's the first kinds of things they might see that they go, wow, I can't believe that was going on?
Pretty much every pilot project I've been involved in is huge amounts of equipment and lighting running on outside of schedule.
Okay.
Second is broken sensors. Pretty much if sensors aren't changing or wildly incalibrated with valid ranges, and that's usually easy to find. Also, it's not unusual to find rooftops operating extremely poorly, stuck dampers, heating and cooling simultaneously.
On at the same time, yeah.
Lots of short cycling. And, it's just not stuff that existing alarming systems are capturing today.
Right.
And they're transient problems. So, if you and I spent 24 hours a day drinking coffee, watching a building, we might see it. But that's not the reality. Nobody has the time and the manpower to do that. We really need to augment with software tools, and that's really what it is.
Yeah. I've heard you guys out there, names mentioned, the company name mentioned, the software name mentioned. How's business?
Well, it's been tremendous. We brought the product to market officially really in October of 2010 after working with some of the initial customers. And since that time, in less than 18 months, we've got over 115 million square feet of buildings that are under constant analytic analysis with SkySpark. That's over 1,200 buildings. Wow. And that's a really short period of time to think about. And what it really attests to is how much value can be derived quickly. Right. So that people can really look at getting a fast payback by applying it with easy-to-get data, find issues that immediately result in a return. And so we have customers that start with small pilots and, then quickly are moving to large-scale deployments. We're seeing cycles where they pilot and, in 8 weeks, that's it, we want to go do the whole portfolio.
Well, they already have all this data, as you mentioned. I mean, you're not asking them to create anything new.
Yeah, it's very different than installing control systems or new equipment. It's not this huge capital expense. Most likely they've invested the money to have the data. They just haven't had the tools to do anything useful with the data.
Right.
And that's really where we come in.
Well, if anybody listening is interested in finding out more, how can they contact you?
Well, it's easy to find me. I'm John, John, at SkyFoundry.com. I'd be happy to follow up with anybody.
And so obviously SkyFoundry.com is the place to go to find out all kinds of things. There's a very active community there, blogging, all that So, well, thank you, gentlemen, for talking with me today, and thank you for listening to this episode of Lynxspring Live.
Thanks.